Hello, how are you? My name is Adrian Fleischer. I'm your instructor for Kinesiology 214 during the fall term of 2020, a term that no doubt has changed everybody's perspective on how we deliver education deliverables to our students. So with that said, this little video is a quick presentation on how to progress during the first couple of steps for our course. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. For the agenda here, just a couple slides. We're talking like 3 or 4 when it's all said and done. Just a quick welcome. How you doing? Which you've already done. Introduction to me, what I bring to the table, and hopefully it's something you want to stick around and hear what I have to say. How to get started in the class and what the next steps are for the class itself. So with 214, this class was originally designed as part lecture, part lab, and the way I usually teach it is I'll do, on a 1-day-a-week course, I'll do 30 minutes of lecture, 30 minutes of lab, and then about 15 minutes to kind of debrief at the end. And I'll have different activities where we're doing lab activities in the fitness center. And what I've had to do is kind of retool some stuff. And I started doing this last term when I was actually teaching to a classroom where I was doing some of my labs online. I was actually already starting to do virtual labs, and it worked out great. I have a whole library of videos on YouTube that I use for exercise programming that I use with my clients. And so it was a pretty easy transition to just go ahead and bring those into the classroom environment. It worked out great. So to that end, you will see for our course, video lectures. You'll also see virtual labs as well as check for learning assignments. And with that said, what you're looking at is what used to be an hour and 15 minutes or about 75 minutes of class time. You can kind of allocate out in terms of your time management, what do you want to do for this class, but originally it was about 75 minutes once a week with homework as added on, as well as additional assignments added on. So kind of do the math on that in terms of how much time you like to allocate to this class, but it'll be a couple hours each week when it's all said and done. And the course itself is designed for people who want to become movement practitioners, and I've used this term over the last 5 years progressively more and more and more as I've evolved my career skill set over the years. Where I started off as a strength coach, you'll see here in a little bit, I started off as a strength coach in college, and just over the course of going to different seminars and clinics and camps and picking up different educational deliverables for myself, we're all movement practitioners, whether it's somebody who wishes to be a physical therapist, a personal trainer, a strength conditioning coach, or whatever you may choose to go into. Our field is dealing with the human body and how it moves. And many times it's trying to elicit some type of response out of the human organism, out of the body, whether it's to heal in terms of physical therapy, or it is in terms of performance enhancement, in terms of a strength conditioning coach, or with the general population, perhaps it's just weight loss, balance, coordination, etc. It depends who's in front of you, how you influence or work with that person. And I say that because it's not 100% physical therapy, 100% strength conditioning, 100% general population. Because many times as a strength conditioning coach, you might have somebody who comes in after a knee surgery and you have to do some physical therapy protocols with them outside of the athletic training room. Or as a personal trainer, many times I've dealt with clients who came in with different aches and pains, and I had to work around and find ways to work with them. So it wasn't all like blood and guts, crushing, throwing barbells around type of training throughout my career. It's evolved into understanding that there's different modalities of exercise and different ways to get that training response and apply a training stimuli to a person to get the specific training response. And then the other sidebar to this class is we want to prepare you, right? We want to prepare you for the rest of your coursework at Harper, and also prepare you specifically for the practicum where you're going to be working with clients one-on-one and put you in the best position to be successful and feel comfortable and confident that when you work with somebody, you not only know what the heck you're doing, but you can articulate what you'd like the client to do, and then further be able to cue and correct people correctly to get the training response that you want. It's a little bit of art, it's a little bit of science, it's a lot of work, but once you get it and you really get into being a movement practitioner, well, I'll tell you, you can do a lot of different stuff with it. So realize there's a multi-pronged approach to what we're trying to do with this class. Now, specifically about me. With my background in my education, I started off, actually, I was a student at Harper. I was a student athlete, played football, and did that for 2 years, and then transferred up to University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, where I did my undergrad. And so I transferred up to Whitewater in 1990, and graduated in 1993. During that time, I ended up being the head student assistant in strength and conditioning, where I worked with all what's now called the Olympic sports. It's all the sports that are included in the Olympics. Basically, when you say Olympic sports and you have a strength and conditioning coach that's head of the Olympic program, it's not that they do a bunch of Olympic strength training. Actually, what it is, it's all the non-revenue sports in essence. It's non-football, if you want to think of it like that. So I spent a lot of time working with cross-country track, some volleyball, etc. While I also played football and I ran track at Whitewater. And during that time, actually, like most people in athletics, usually an injury kind of takes you out of the game, and eventually an injury took me out of playing football, and I ended up being the assistant, one of the assistant defensive back coaches for the freshman team. So I had a ton of experience coaching. When I graduated, I ended up going to the University of Arizona as part of my internship. I actually followed my mentor, who I met at Whitewater. He was the head strength coach, and he took a job at Arizona. And I went out there and I learned from some pretty heady people, and they're still well known in the industry. And my goodness, I was completely blessed to go out there and like every day I'd get up, I'd go to the practice field. I was there at 6 a.m. I'm working with these athletes, and I was working with women's basketball all the way through to football. So we're talking, I worked with all these sports, very hands-on, wonderful internship opportunity. And every day it was like my head just blew up, with something I learned that just blew me out of the water. As well as like I thought I knew it all, but oh my God, I realized how much I didn't know. And to this day, I'm still friendly with individuals who I met there, and I'm still friendly with my mentor, as a matter of fact, who's still a college strength and conditioning coach now in the Southeast Conference, SEC. And I can tell you, it was one of those where I really enjoyed my time and I learned a ton. But then I ended up taking a position at Austin Peay State University. And this was actually a cool situation. As you go into this field and go past your undergrad, you might come across this. I was, in essence, offered a graduate assistantship at the University of Arizona. I'm sorry, at Austin Peay State University. A GA position is basically you get your education paid for and you work in a department and you work under somebody else as their assistant while you go through grad school, hence the name graduate assistant. Austin Peay did not have a head strength coach, and they did not have one for 2 years before that, and they left the program up to the whims of the individual coaches, and it didn't work out so well. And I remember talking with Chuck Kimmel, the athletic director there, on the phone, and he's like, look, it's a 1-year program. You're going to come out of here with room, book, board, tuition, little stipend in your pocket, and you'll have a master's degree in 1 year. You will be tired, you will be exhausted, but you will be the head coach of a Division I program, and you will have your master's in a year. And true to form, I was wiped out, had 20 hours of sleep a week at best sometimes, because I was doing full-time strength conditioning with 14 athletic programs, if you will, 14 different sport programs, and was still a full-time graduate student. I was exhausted, but I was completely energized and on my game, and I've never been higher on my game or more on my game than I was then than I am now. Actually, I'm really enjoying myself now teaching. It's like the next evolution of my career. And when I came back to the burbs around Chicago, I came back to look for a college coaching gig, and I took a job as a personal trainer in a fitness facility. And in that time, I mean, I've done a bunch of different stuff outside of fitness, but specifically, I've dealt with general conditioning, working with the general population. I've picked up numerous Pilates certifications. I also worked with a medical group downtown, where I was the medical group was all doctors of psychology and nutritionists, etc. And they had a holistic approach to working with clients who were either high BMI, I'm talking like 500-pound people, or another side of that equation was I had 2 individuals where they literally ran themselves on a treadmill. They ran themselves into the ER having a heart attack. And they were 26-year-old females. And so, you're talking, this medical group dealt specifically with individuals who had different physical issues that manifested as a result of psychological root causes. So a person with a high BMI, many times I talk with them and they would explain to me it was more about it was their armor. You know, the weight protected them. The person who ran themselves into the ER on a treadmill had run for like 6 hours because they ate 2 Snickers bars the day before. And so, you know, talk about conviction, holy cow. But realize that, and it made me realize that people have their own hangups, you know, we all have them. And these people, their hangups manifest themselves differently than others. But it really gave me a perspective on, you know what, we all fight the battle every day, we all have our struggles. And these people, you can clearly see it. Beyond that, I've also done a ton of performance training, worked with, you know, area hockey groups, baseball clinics, seminars, etc. I was kind of the guy that was known to be the one to go to if you want to get faster before every person had a speed ladder. And you know, I still chuckle about that because there's still people who believe they're speed coaches and don't teach a damn thing about getting faster. And then also managed a number of different facilities. One cool one, I was a GM, a general manager of a startup fitness facility. It was in Mundelein. It was really cool technology. I mean, I can talk about that later if anybody cares to ask. And also, I'm owner of it's a virtual business, but it's PT Network, and the website's down right now, so don't go looking for it. I'm actually updating it. But by the time you get this, you might be able to open up and take a look. But PT Network is personal training network, could be physical therapy network, could be performance training network. But it's a way to connect clients and trainers, and given the in-home environment, my God, I couldn't have been more fortuitous to have this thing in place when I did, to be able to connect people who want to work out in home. And also it's a way for me to connect with area youth coaches who would like to have seminars on how to work with their athletes better. And I do a number of clinics, and I work in a capacity where I go in and coach coaches to become better at working with their youth athletes instead of them going out and crushing little Johnny who's 10 years old, you know, and thinking that more is better, but teaching them how to actually be a better coach. And then, of course, I'm an adjunct professor, which brings me to meeting each of you, where I'll be teaching this class, and I teach a number of other ones at Harper. So I've taught now on order of, I want to say, 8 or 9 different classes at Harper, from KIN214 to 236 to 230, et cetera, 111, 113, 114. You know, so I've taught all these, and my body of work continues to grow. So with that, please feel free to email me if you have questions on any of that stuff. If you like, I'll be happy to talk about any of the stuff in here at length. But I try not to make it where it's like I'm a professor diva. You know, I don't want to have it where it's all about me, because quite frankly, the class should be all about the content and you guys learning content, not so much about whatever I've done in my background. But realize it's pretty solid, it's pretty expansive, and there's a lot going on, and there's a lot that I can deliver to you guys to help you through this process. So the next step, hit your mission. If you choose to accept, over to the drop-down menu, or actually the pull-out menu on the side of your screen. As you're looking at your screen, it'll be on the left-hand side. Go to the Learning Modules tab, and when you open that up, you'll see Start Here. It's a folder at the very top. Go in, start there, work your way through that, and then go ahead and go through modules step by step by step. There'll be other videos to help you through the process. Do all the work in the class as outlined, and get on the A train and earn yourself that A. With that, guys, I hope everything is good. I'm looking forward to a great semester. Feel free to email me with questions. I'll be happy to go over anything you want. And as you'll see in other videos, I'm pretty reachable via email. Okay, have a great one. Thanks. Bye.